Hey guys, this is Corey B, aka Bing-er. Today I'm going to show you how to make, or how I make, these tiny planet photos. I've been taking my drone out and getting some really awesome shots and taking them home and using Microsoft Image Composite Editor to make some really cool tiny planet photos. A lot of people ask me if I was using Litchi, and that's a popular app you can put on your phone to help control your drone and do a few more things that your drone can't do. I did not use Litchi. I haven't even downloaded it. It costs $25 and I haven't really convinced myself to buy it. One reason is DJI is always adding features to their drones and the apps, so I think someday maybe they'll just add these features. But for now, I just used the standard app. I did not use Litchi. So pretty much all I did was take my DJI Spark out and take a lot of pictures, bring them home and throw them into Microsoft Image Composite Editor and made a tiny planet. I did use Photoshop a little bit for the touch-ups, but I'll get into that later. Let me tell you how I did this. The DJI Spark has a lot of really cool image settings, and one of the settings you can do is panorama. You can do a horizontal panorama or you can shoot a vertical panorama, but another mode is both. So it shoots 3 pictures across and 3 pictures down. So it's both horizontal and vertical. Did I do that right? So it's Brady Bunch style. It's 3x3, so you're taking 9 photos every time you use this panorama mode. So what I did the other day, I drove to Casson and I parked about a block away. I parked across this parking lot here. I didn't want to park too close to it because you got to back your drone up a little ways from your subject anyway. And also, flying around water towers is not usually a good idea for drones because it messes up with the reception and the signal. So anyway, I flew my drone up and I flew forward until I could see the majority of the water tower. But what you really want to make sure is you have the top of it clearly viewed with a little bit of sky above it. If you cut off the top of the water tower at all, your picture's going to suck. It's going to be more like this cropped instead of the full view. So what I did was, once I found the sweet spot there where I could see the whole thing and definitely the top of it, let's just call that due north for the ease of this video. I took 1 panorama shot, so I took 9 pictures for that panorama. Then I angled the gimbal down at almost like a 45. I tried to keep the top of the frame right at the horizon, and I did another panorama, 9 more pictures. Then I looked almost all the way down, maybe like 10 degrees, a little bit up from down, and took another panorama, so 9 more pictures. So we just captured 27 pictures due north. I did that for every direction. So next, I turned it east. I did panorama, panorama, panorama. And then I went south, did the same thing, straight off into the horizon, panorama, and down at an angle on number 2 shot, and then almost straight down number 3. I turned it west finally, and I did those 3 shots again. So now each direction I captured 27 images. Total, I have 108 images. If you think you missed any of the areas of the horizon, capture your pictures. It's better to have more pictures than not enough pictures. I've gone home before and stitched them all together, and there's a big chunk east or west or south because I thought I captured all the pictures and I didn't. So once you know you've captured everything, and I mean the horizon 360 degrees around you and everything straight down below you, then you can park your drone and go home and start editing. This is my micro SD on my Spark that I threw in my computer here, and as you see there's a panorama folder, and each folder is the 9 pictures from that panorama. So there you go. So there's 12 different folders here. So this is north, this is east, this is south, this is west. I made a folder on my computer called Casson, and I just dragged them all in there. If you go into this Casson folder, you could take just the pictures from one of these folders and throw it into Microsoft Image Composite Editor, and it'll give you a really nice photo. It'll be a lot more resolution than just one of these photos, but we're going to throw them all in. So an easier way than to grab each one out of here and put it in there is to just go Control F and type in JPEG, select all the pictures and drag them in. Here we go. Here's 108 pictures. We're just going to hit the stitch button and it starts. This is going to take 5, 7, 9 minutes. I don't know. It's going to take a while. I don't know what we can talk about until then. Maybe I'll just fast forward. But let's bring up my task manager and look at what my computer's doing. I've got a dual 6-core processor in here, so it's got like 12 little processing units. It takes a lot of computing power and it takes a lot of memory. The worst though is when you go to try to save it, and I'll show you, there's a percentage, you can turn down your percentage. If you have a crappy computer and you try to save it at 100% resolution, it will crash your program and it might even crash your computer. Like I said, I've got 16 gigs of RAM and 2 6-core processors, and it even crashed the program that I was using when I tried to save it. We're finally at 100%. And this is the photo that it gives us, and I can see right now there's a really big issue right over here, and I think there's another issue here, but I'll show you how to fix those in Photoshop. I've taken these panorama photos before, and there's absolutely no issues when you stitch them all together, and that's in really good conditions, no wind, and great lighting. One problem that I should point out that you'll have with these photos, if the sun is either rising or setting, it's going to cause some, I don't know what's the word for it, white balancing issues. The balance isn't going to be the same when you aim at the sun as away from the sun. So that's one of our issues I can see right here, but we'll fix it. So next I want you to click on the stereographic picture here, and then you grab, see if you grab it up here, you're going to be twisting it, rotating it. So you should grab it down here and pull up. This is going to turn it into a ball or a little tiny planet. You can zoom out. You can grab and distort. What I would do is I would rotate it until what you want to be focused on, in this case it's the water tower, is straight up and down there, and then I would grab it and distort it up a little bit to make that water tower bigger. You can go as much as you want, but at a certain point it's going to look really goofy. I like that. Let's go next. Let's go to the crop button. Cropping doesn't take quite as long as stitching it. It's almost done here. But like I said, this photo here is 47,000 pixels by 28,000 pixels. That's a huge photo. We want to crop it down to, let's see, so now we're sitting at 14,000 by 19,000 pixels. Looks fine to me. Let's export it. And I see, like I said, a really big issue right here, and there might be a little issue right up here. We're going to fix those right now in Photoshop. It's looking good though. If you're going to print this out on a large scale, you can keep your scale up here at 100%. We're not going to do that. We're going to turn it down to like 35. I think that'll be plenty. That's still 5 by 6,500 pixels. That's just fine. Export it. We're going to call it, because I've done this a bunch, Casson Take 3. So you can save this so that you can go back in there and they're already stitched together and you won't have to wait for that next time. Let's throw this in Photoshop and fix some of those issues. And we are going to fix this jagged edge right here. I'm going to select this whole area right here. And I'm going to, quick mask, that's what it's called. I'm going to exit quick mask, select the inverse, copy and paste it, and then I'm going to transform that, and I'm just going to rotate it a little bit here. No, too much. I'm going to only go about halfway. We're going to exit quick mask again. We're going to select inverse and copy and paste again. Now we're going to transform that and try to line it up with the rest of our stuff. Oh, maybe twisted it a little bit too much. Well, that's all right. I'm okay with that. If we were printing it out large scale, I'd probably want to fix it. But if we're just going to put it on Facebook or Instagram, it's probably just fine. I hope I was clear in my instructions and it wasn't too convoluted. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more videos like this. See you later.